She stood at the bus stop long after the last bus had already left. The city lights reflected in the wet pavement, and people passed by without noticing her. Her phone was still in her hand, the screen dark, the message unanswered. She knew she should go home, but something inside her wouldn't let her move. Her name was Lena Moore. She was 29 years old, and for most of her life, she believed loyalty was the most important thing a person could have. She worked as a nurse, long shifts, quiet sacrifices, always putting others first. People often said she was too kind, too patient, but she thought kindness was strength. Lena had been in a relationship with Daniel for 6 years. He was charming, confident, and always knew what to say in public. To the world, they looked perfect. At home, Lena did most of the listening. Daniel talked about his dreams, his stress, his problems. She listened. She supported. She adjusted. She told herself that love meant endurance. The first cracks appeared slowly, almost invisibly. Daniel started coming home later. He kept his phone face down on the table. When Lena asked simple questions, he smiled and said she was overthinking. "You're tired," he told her. "You see problems where there are none." Then came Maya, her coworker, her friend. Maya laughed loudly, complained about her life, and often stayed late after work with Daniel when Lena had night shifts. "She needs support," Daniel said. "You understand, right?" Lena nodded, even when something inside her felt wrong. At night, Lena replayed conversations in her head. The jokes that felt too personal. The silences that felt too long. But each time she tried to speak, both Daniel and Maya said the same thing. "You're imagining it." One evening, Lena finished her shift early. She decided to surprise Daniel with dinner. The house was quiet when she arrived, too quiet. Maya's shoes were by the door. Lena's hands began to shake. She walked slowly toward the bedroom. The door was half open. Inside, she saw them sitting on the bed, close to close. Daniel looked up first. His face turned pale. Maya jumped back as if burned. "It's not what it looks like," Daniel said quickly. Lena felt her heart crack, not break crack. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just asked one question. "How long?" Silence answered her. That silence told her everything. Daniel tried to explain. He said he was confused. He said Lena worked too much. He said Maya understood him better. Each word felt like a knife, but Lena stood still. She realized something painful and clear. The man she trusted most had already left her heart long ago. That night, Lena packed a small bag. As she closed the door behind her, she understood this was not the end of her story, it was the turning point. Lena stayed with her sister for a while. The nights were long and quiet. Sometimes she cried. Sometimes she felt nothing at all. Daniel called again and again. Messages turned into apologies, then into anger. "You're throwing everything away," he wrote. 6 years don't mean nothing." She didn't reply. Instead, Lena began choosing herself in small ways. She slept without fear. She ate when she was hungry. She stopped explaining her pain to people who refused to understand it. At work, she smiled again, not for others, but because she felt lighter. One morning, she looked at her reflection and realized something had changed. She was still hurt, but she was no longer lost. Love had once meant sacrifice. Now it meant self-respect. Daniel showed up one day, standing outside with flowers. He said he made a mistake. He said he needed her. Lena listened calmly. Then she said softly, "You didn't lose me that night. You lost me when you taught me to doubt myself." She closed the door not in anger, but in peace. Months later, Lena passed the same bus stop where she once stood frozen, waiting for a message that never came. This time, she didn't stop. She kept walking. She had moved into her own place. The rooms were small but filled with quiet strength. She learned that healing wasn't loud. It didn't announce itself. It arrived softly in moments when she no longer needed answers from the past. Lena no longer wondered why she wasn't enough for someone else. She understood that betrayal often begins when we stay silent to protect others and abandon ourselves. Some people enter our lives to teach us love. Others enter to teach us boundaries. She lost a relationship, but she found her voice, and that voice became her freedom. If you felt this story, share it. Someone else may be standing at their own bus stop waiting to choose themselves.